All right, today we're doing lesson 6 from chapter 2, sales tax, tips, and markup. Before we begin, we just need to review the decimal method because that's basically all we do in this lesson. So when we talk about sales tax, it's the extra money that has to be added onto our purchase. Anytime we buy something, there is sales tax. In our city, we have 9% sales tax. So if I go buy something for $20, I'm not just paying $20 at checkout. I'm paying $20 and the 9% of whatever $20 is for the sales tax. So plus the 9%. Easiest way to do this is just find out what 9% of 20 is. You take that 9 and make it a decimal by jumping it twice to the left. So we take that 20, multiply it by 0.09. We'll get the calculator out really quick. 20 times 0.09, and that gives us 1.8. Or in this case, because it's money, we need to have two numbers after a decimal, so that's $1.80 in tax that we pay. So instead of it just being $20, we are paying the $20 for the item plus $1.80 for sales tax. So we are paying $21.80 total. Okay? There's an easier method on how to do this, and that is when you take the entire price. So me paying $20 for the price is me paying 100% for that item. There's no discount, there's no markdown, there's no anything like that. I'm paying full price, it's 100%. When you pay taxes on top of it, that's an extra percentage of the price. In our town, it's 9% sales tax. So basically what I'm paying is 109% of the entire price. So instead of me just finding out what 9% of 20 is, then adding it to it, I can skip the adding part and just find out what 109% of this entire price is. I jump the decimal twice to the left, and now I'll have 20 times 1.09. Remember on the last example when I multiplied it by 0.09, all we found out was 9% of it, right? With the 1 there, anything times 1 is just itself. So when I have the 1 present, that 20 basically gets carried over to the price. That's what happens when I do the 100%. So this will be the $20 and the 9% of it added into one price. So basically this gives me my entire price right off the bat. So the $20 times 1.09, because that's 109% in decimal form, gives me my $21.80 that I would be paying outright. So there's a shortcut. It's called the 100% method. Just add 100% to whatever your sales tax is, and that gives you your total price, if that's what the question asks. If the question asks you, what is your sales tax, what is your tip, what is the markup, then you need to know the small amount, right? On your homework, your question just asks you for total price. It says right there, find total cost to the nearest cent. So basically, let's pull number 6 as an example. What I would do is multiply that 15. Instead of multiplying it by 20%, what would I multiply it by? You add the 100 to it. So what would it be? Instead of 20%, it'd be 120%. Jump the decimal twice, and then what would that be? 1.2. The 0 does fall off. You can put 1.20, but at the end of a decimal, any zeros at the end just get chopped off. So what I would do here is just do $15. Always clear your calculator. 15 times 1.2. That means if I'm doing $15 lunch with a 20% tip, my whole bill is $18. If you want to use mental math, how much did they leave for tip? You just take that 18 minus 15 from it. How much did they leave? $3. They left a $3 tip. $3 was 20% of the price. And that's it. That's the same thing for every single one. Sales tax, again, is just the added money they add to a product because that sales tax is used to build schools, build roads, bridges, things like that. Tip and gratuity are the same thing. It's the extra money you add on to pay your waiter or your waitress. And then markup and selling price. Let's get into that. So like we talked about yesterday in class, when a company or a store buys an item, they buy it for a certain price and then turn around and sell it for a more price, because that way they get what? They make a profit. Remember, business cannot run if they're not making money. So if I make my own store and I buy an item for $5 and I turn around and sell it for $5, I made nothing, right? I broke even. I want to make money. So when they say a markup, that's what they mean. They mean how much are they upcharging you. So if somebody buys something for $5, they may say, okay, I'm going to do a flat percentage. I'm going to charge 50% more. I'm going to do a 50% markup. Okay? Same math. Instead of me multiplying this by 0.5 to figure out what half of it is, I'm just going to multiply this by 150% because that's what I'm selling it for. I bought it for 100%, but I'm going to turn around and sell it for 150%. So jump the decimal twice. 1.5. So whatever 5 times 1.5 is what I'm selling it for. 5 times 1.5. I'm selling it for $7.50. Which means, how much am I making per thing that I sell? $2.50. 50 cents. Make sure you guys don't get into that habit. Remember, this is not $7.05. This is $7.50. Remember, we can annex zeros at the end of a decimal. The only reason why this doesn't say 0.7 or 0.7.50 is because at the end of a decimal, if there's zeros at the decimal, the rule is they just fall off. They just fall off. So this in the calculator, 7.5, is the same thing as $7.50. You just have to add that extra. You have to annex that zero at the end. Do not ever get confused and go, oh, it's 5 cents. It's not 5 cents. If this was $7.05, it would look like this in your calculator. It would be 7.05. That's $7.05. Okay? So if you ever get in your calculator just one digit and it's money related, add a zero at the end of it, and there you go. Remember, 2 digits should be after a decimal when it comes to money. If for any reason you have more than 2 digits afterward, you're going to round. You're going to look at the second number next door at the third number. If that third number is 4 or lower, we round down. If it's 5 or higher, we round up. Go. All right. And then if we look at our homework again, the easiest way to do this is just to add 100% to each one of the percentages and just multiply it by that. I'm going to use number 4 as an example because number 4 has a decimal in it. Okay? So this person's buying $2.99 of socks. That's our base price. And the sales tax on that is 5.5, or it's a 5.5% markup. Remember, markup, sales tax, tip, it's the same math. So don't get thrown off by the words that are there. Instead of me multiplying this to find out what 5.5% of it is, I can use the 100% method, right? If I add 100% to 5.5, what will I get? Anyone? I'm adding 100% to 5.5. We're not doing the decimal yet. Let's just do the percentage first. So that's 5.5%. I want to add 100 to it. What will that give me? Anybody? 105.5%. I just wanted to add 100 to it. That's already 5.5. So don't let the decimal throw you off. If this was just 5%, if I covered this up, if this was just 5%, adding 100 to it would make it what? 105. But this is 5.5, so that just makes it 105.5. Okay? It's just 105.5%. But now I'm jumping the decimal twice. Now I have that weird 1.055. That's what I'm going to multiply this by. Because it's a half percentage over here, I do need to add the 100 to it, and I still need to jump it twice to the left. So 299 multiplied by 1.055 gives me this, and this is an example of when money needs to be rounded. I got $3.15 and then 445 at the end. This is a 4. Does this tell me to round up or down? Down. Remember, a 4 or lower, we round down. 5 or higher, we have to round up. So this is going to be $3.15. You can put about in your answer because you did round, but when it comes to money, it's just going to be an exact, so you're going to say it's $3.15. And that's what they're charging for that pair of socks. Are there any questions at all for lesson 6? Because that's pretty much the entire lesson. No? All right.